Hey everyone, welcome back. We're here on this Christmas Eve taking a good look at this Cub Cadet International 1250. It's our pulling mower. Now that we're a little slower, we're trying to get our stuff a little bit better maintained for the year so we don't have to do that in the middle of the season. First off, I'm wishing you all Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays to you, and I hope you get to spend these times with your family. For those of you who can't spend it with your family, may they be with us in our thoughts and our prayers. We're going to get this thing checked out and figure out exactly what's going on and why it is so loud here today. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button as we go along if you enjoy the content. Pull this basket off the top. We just kind of keep our pulling tools and stuff in there for pulling different tractors in and around. Now this thing is a 1976 model of the 1250, so it's, 45 plus years old. It's got some use out of it. We got it about 5 or 6 years ago now. We've been using it around the shop to pull things around and it's worked great. Never really had an issue. We did replace the starter a little while ago. It was starting to get real weak. But other than that, we haven't done much to it except for change the oil in the filter. It is starting to develop a hydro leak, so I'll have to dive into that. Maybe that'll be a video later on in the winter here. But for now, as I start it up, you can hear real quickly what seems to be the problem. Yeah, it sounds great, right? It sounds like it's got headers on it like a race car though too. So something's going on with this exhaust. We're gonna pull this cover off and figure out exactly what that is. Now the first thought that comes to mind is, oh, I really hope that muffler isn't completely torn off of there. Looks like that cover and all the shroud has seen some better days from the vibration. We'll get that off. Well, I was going to take that off, but I guess there's not really any reason to take that off of there. Looks like it's been shaking around quite a bit. Of course, the whole front's racked. I'm sure at some point over the years we did that. One of the guys did anyway. Just the cover off. It's pretty obvious once we have it off. There is our exhaust tube coming out. And here's our muffler. Kind of hanging around in here. It looks like our piece is broken off here. Looks like just kind of maybe a cast that bolts into the back of this exhaust, and then it's just a clamp that holds it onto the exhaust tube there. So once this mount or support broke off, you can see here it's out of a piece of that cast. Now it almost seems like it's possibly aluminum as opposed to cast. It is. We've got an aluminum, or I would assume that's what they used back in those days, not a magnesium, but that's not going to be easy to get fixed without something to support there. So I think maybe what I'll go ahead and do is figure out how much of a distance we need from here to here and take this bolt out and put a spacer here, and then maybe some sort of flat washer or something like that over here to kind of grab onto the back side of this, because I'm sure none of this is going to be available anymore, and if it was, I wouldn't like to see the price. Let's see what we got just over in our, got kind of a miscellaneous metal drawer over here. Just stuff we've saved. Thought maybe we could use one day. Flat piece of that might work. Could work if I cut a piece off. Not sure I'm going to have enough room to the one side if I were to use that. Lots of different things in here that are a possibility. I think maybe this one might be one of the quickest and easiest ones to just throw on there. I was thinking maybe I'd have to cut a piece off, but if I go this way, might just leave it exactly how it is. Go through here and leave that little tab on. That should work out pretty good for getting that shored back up so it doesn't vibrate and isn't loud every time we want to get it on there. Just a short piece. From there to there though, if we get something short up as far as a spacer goes, that'll come to the outside of that, that should work just about perfectly to secure it. So I was taking a look at what we had over there to use as a spacer, and this has been on the shelf I don't even know how long. I've thought about using it for many different things, but never really worked out right. I think this back here will give us great surface area against that aluminum part, and then it'll match the height with this spacer here towards the exhaust, just about exactly where we need to go as far as height goes. Now I did leave this a tiny bit shorter because part of this was actually part of the aluminum housing. So this top part, I put it to about there when I was choosing these things as far as another spacer to go there. Should work just perfect. I was thinking about using a large bolt, but then I've got to modify both the angle bracket here because I want to use this smaller hole, and then I would have to modify the exhaust bracket where it goes in. So I'm just going to use a regular 5/16 18, nice longer one that'll go through all that. While we're getting all that done up, I'm going to spray a little penetrating lube on here. This is likely not going to work at all. We use the Kimball Midwest corrosion blasting lube. I mean, these things are pretty bad shape. I might have to replace this, but we'll see once we get it on there if it'll tighten down or not. Many times they'll tighten down, they just won't loosen up. So again, I'm just going to use this 5/16 18. I'm going to go through here like such, and then I'm going to use this washer on the back side, and then this big bushing or whatever it is from wherever it came from, it's going to go here because that's going to contact this whole surface in order to grab onto it. I'm going to go through there, and I'm going to flip this up onto that exhaust on the other side as we're going. It's up on there good. We're going to hold it about level, and then I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this on this side to kind of hold on to this whole assembly at the bottom. And I'm going to put just a lock nut on it. And hold it in place as I tighten it where I think I want it to go anyway. It's looking pretty good so far. I don't want to go too tight with that where I actually break off that. If I break off that aluminum, that's not going to be good at all. We're not going to have anywhere to secure to. I will go a little bit tighter here shortly. I'm going to see what happens as far as the bolts at the back here go. See if we can't tighten those up.
One broke. I knew it was kind of wishful thinking that we were gonna get these tightened without them breaking off, but this one actually worked okay. Couldn't get lucky on both of them, unfortunately. Got another clamp here to throw on for it. Not exactly what I was looking for, but real close. It'll work for what we're going for here nonetheless. Almost there. So I'm going to try to go out as far as I can. Looks like that's about all I got as far as this goes. Unscrew those just a hair and yeah, see if we can't go out there. Just enough to kind of get away from that notch. Looks like we're pretty darn tight there. Let's tighten up our bolt here at the front a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and double nut all of this since it's really prone to vibration. And this side's looking pretty good also. Again, just going to go ahead and make sure that we aren't going to come loose at some point until this thing's completely junk, and then that's what it is. I'm going to throw a couple bolts back in the side of this thing, as long as those holes are good to kind of get this back good. Then we're going to put that top cover back on and see how it sounds. See what it does now. Still got some pretty good vibration out of it, but it is all solid, at least for now. If this shroud comes off a little bit, I'm not too worried about that anyway. As long as that muffler is nice and stout on there, keeps it in the position it needs to be. Now the mounts and stuff on this, for something this old, they start to deteriorate. You get more vibration and stuff out of it, but overall this thing sounds great for being that old of an engine. You know, it doesn't really burn any oil. Everything runs great, so we're real happy with it.
Yeah, not the most glamorous repair on this one, I get it. But again, on many of these things, when you run into older equipment or people who don't want to put that much money into something, you've got to take some sort of shortcut to ensure you can meet that price point for them. Now this one, the customer, me, didn't want to spend any money on it, right? I don't want to go source parts, spend a bunch of cash to get a different clamp, or, you know, try to shore all this up in a different way. I just want it to be functional so we can use it as a puller for the next 10 years, right? I think this repair will last for a very long time. I don't think we're going to have any issues with it. As far as the shroud goes, I'm not too worried about the vibration or anything like that. If that shroud even wasn't there, in our case, we're not going to worry about it because we're not going to have grass and buildup and stuff around there. I think that's why they originally put it there, is in case grass or any of that stuff gets up in there, you don't want to fire it sitting right against your muffler. Well, when you're not mowing grass, it doesn't really matter, right? This thing has been a workhorse and it's going to continue to be a workhorse. I hope you guys have enjoyed on this Christmas Eve. And again, I hope you enjoy your Christmas or your holidays with your family and all your friends. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the content.